In the Paramore system, there floats the twin planets of Ein in an intricate dance. They have spiraled together in a perfect rotating binary long before the discovery and the settling of the Paramore solar system. Their gravitational symmetry exists as a gentle blanket, holding them together and yet somehow leaving the waters and life of each entirely undisturbed. How these planets are affected by each other, along with the abandoned alien ruins all over Ein 1, makes them a great curiosity to the explorers, researchers, and tomb raiders of the universe. And so, in this vein of thought, the Eurasian government, in collaboration with the Ein Ruins Exploratory Guild, built the experimental research and reclamation vessel, the Calamity's Refrain. For the past 3 years, this advanced ship has traveled between the ruins, gathering samples of alien flora and fauna, categorizing and reallocating the interesting shards of alien technology. That is, of course, until today. The golden hull of the Calamity's Refrain, once a towering monument to humanity's ingenuity and curiosity, now lies shattered, with countless priceless artifacts being sucked out into the inky black of space. A series of small mechs, sporting the Scoundrel Armada colors, spiral across its mile-long frame, claiming the valuable debris in large mechanical claws. They had come swiftly, darting out of the little-known voids and pockets of space. Their prey, the Calamity's Refrain, had been caught unawares, and by then it was too late, and the ship's reaction was too slow. A single piercing shot from a large mounted cannon on their leader's shoulder had laid the Refrain's treasures bare before them. Its viscera was gold and knowledge, and its pining death throes was the distress call it so weakly expressed past them. The pirates, either unwilling to stop the signal or unable, let it echo out into the void of space. Let them come. It doesn't matter. Their commander's voice played out across the attackers' comms, reassuring them. Let's do what we came here for. All right. Hi, everybody.
It's such a good intro.
Wow, right into it, too.
Yeah, it's so good.
Today, we're going to be testing a season and setting I call Bypass System. This is a system originally built using the game system The Sprawl, which I will be using which we will be playing in today's one-shot. However, we've been talking about it, and I think it would be really fun to have Bypass System explored through a kind of as an anthology, using a series of different gaming systems and different one-shots to flesh out the setting. So the basic deal for this world is that it takes place thousands and thousands and thousands of years into the future. At this point, humanity's governments have all pretty much, they've been fusing and breaking apart and making different federations and different things for such a long time now that each government is entirely unrecognizable to the ones we have today. And there's pretty much only the 4 Earth governments that have all spread out into space, becoming these massive, sprawling space empires in their own right, owning thousands and thousands of planets across multiple solar systems. All 4 of the Earth governments share the Earth as a kind of treaty between them, and also as a fit of nostalgia of Earth is humanity's home, and so it is always home to all of humanity. At this point, humanity has only met one other sentient spacefaring alien race, which are called the Capricorn. I don't know if we'll meet them a whole lot in today's game, but the Capricorn are basically these, how do I explain them? Okay, you know Goatman? Everyone know Goatman? Everyone a big fan of the cryptid Goatman? Okay.
My bridge now, Goatman.
Imagine if Goatman didn't have fur, but instead had amphibious toad skin. and Goatman had 4 arms, 1 arm placed on every compass direction of their torso. So they have 1 arm coming out of the center of their chest, 2 on the sides like we do, and then 1 arm coming out of their back.
Now, Riley, I know you don't do drugs. Where do you get this idea?
I haven't gotten to the weirdest part about the Capricorn yet.
Go ahead.
Only the females have horns. Also, well, the female, biologically, at least, I haven't really thought a lot about how the Capricorn approach gender and sexuality. I'm sure it is not the same way humans do. And so I'm in the oversimplification of how humans view them. The female Capricorn, air quotes, have horns, while the males do not. They also don't have mouths or noses. They just kind of have 1 organ that does both. At the front of their snoots, they have these series of slits and like face gills that function as a very sensitive nose, but also they can close different slits and using their throat muscles produce different sounds, which is how they communicate.
I'm gonna draw the dumbest art of this.
I remember drawing this like years ago.
Yeah, I was like, I've seen what they look like.
I don't remember that at all.
It was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like Riley and I were discussing how they eat, and I remember something about us determining that they eat through gaseous foods.
Yes, they absorb most of their food through. They get most of their nutrients through the atmosphere on their home planet and what they terraform planets to be. And they also absorb water through their feet.
Oh,
Well, that makes sense, because the amphibian part.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. They're wild, and I love them. There's only 1 canonical Capricorn character at the June Agency. The June Agency being the place you'll work, but we'll get to there in a moment.
Yeah, I remember.
So, do they have frog feet?
Yeah, they do. They super do.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Oh, that's whack. Imagining that they have like goat-like legs, but frog feet.
And then you just,
Yes,
I know,
they
yeah.
have goat-like legs, but frog feet.
You're
Okay.
just like, okay.
Would
I
you
love
like to
them.
hear about the 4 Earth governments?
Yeah, absolutely.
Lord.
Go ahead.
Fantastic. Okay, so the first one, and the one that owns a majority of the Paramore solar system, which is where our game is going to mostly take place, is called the Fortuitous Ecoblock. They are a corporatocracy, which is to say their government is run by an oligarchy of different corporations and whoever the CEO of those corporations are at the time. They are the most cyberpunk out of all of the Earth governments. This setting, we're going to be exploring a lot of different aesthetics and space nonsense, but I think the Eco Block is probably they're the most cyberpunk out of all of them. A fun little fact about them is they have the most diverse population, and they also have the most Capricorn in their population as well.
All I say is it's basically, it's capitalism that went too big and it's
Yeah, it's capitalism on steroids, and it's getting bad. A good thing about their culture is that everyone works. Unemployment does not exist in the Eco Block. And they do their best to make sure that the disabled, etc., all have jobs that they can do and not suffer from. However, it is implicit that you work. If you are not working, you are not considered a citizen, because citizenship is part of belonging to a company. Since they are a corporatocracy and the most business-minded, they are one of the richest and most connected governments out of the 4. And they believe that everything must be profitable. Also they originated from the south of Earth, from Australia and Madagascar, and they kind of control the lower half of Earth in the south. Next up, we have Eurasia. Eurasia's aesthetic is very much space medieval. It's very high fantasy, but in space. Their aesthetic is inspired by Arthurian legends, like Arthurian medieval Britain and feudal Japan. But of course, it's in the future, so they have a lot of militaristic and ornate, like space regalia based on military uniforms and what knights and samurai might wear.
Hell yeah.
Their name is Eurasia. Obviously, they are the greater portion of Europe and Asia on Earth. So yeah, imagine if Britain and Japan had a love child, and then that love child lived in the future. Their government is probably the most of me on my nonsense. Their government I describe as a meritocracy. A meritocracy is rule of those with value and skill, and a plutocracy is rule with those who have the most money. And so their government is this elaborate royal hierarchy where your level of royalty is based on your achievements and how much you earn for Eurasia. So you could be declared a duke for being the best at swimming. You could be, if you get a promotion at work, that might mean you are a marquis now. And furthermore, if you get fired from your job, you lose your status as royalty and member of the elite. Since they are this merit plutocracy, they are very achievement oriented, and they focus a lot on talent and prowess and what you have done. They have the smallest population out of the 4 governments, but they also have the biggest army, so go figure.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah.
And a belief of this faction is you are what you have done, not what you are doing. Next up, we have the Free Earth Technocracy. They have the highest percentage of robotic and synthetic citizens and cyborgs.
Can I just say one of the comments Riley put in the description just says they so into robots.
Oh yeah, they're so into robots. They love robots maybe too much. They are a technocracy, but they take it a little bit too seriously, which is to say they are run by this god AI, which they have named Allegory. Which is, again, maybe me on my nonsense a little bit too much. And Allegory is constantly being updated and upgraded by this rotating door and this coterie of the most skilled engineers and programmers in the universe, pretty much, to constantly make sure that Allegory is the most advanced and sophisticated AI so that it can lead them as well as it possibly can. Besides that, though, they're a little bit anarchist, and they believe that only they have the right to own Earth, which they are constantly pushing for in various like meetings and summits and stuff, is for more space on Earth. They are slowly trying to remove Earth as shared space and make it their own. They believe that nothing should just be one thing and that everything should be multifaceted.
Except for Earth.
Except for Earth. Yeah, Earth is theirs. Also, if Star Trek exists in this world, which I believe it does, Star Trek is owned by the Free Earth Technocracy. They are the most advanced, they're the most, like, future nonsense technology. They invented Star Trek.
So you're not talking about the show, you're talking about, like, actual Star Trek
stuff. Like, the actual Starfleet. Like, Starfleet exists in this world in some form, and it is owned by them. Next up, we have the Celestial Federation. They are a federation, but really in name only. The thing that unites all of these governments is their shared religion, which they call the Church of a Million Lights. it's a weird church. It involves the worship of stars and the deification of space as a whole, and the idea that humans are innately made out of star stuff. They, for whatever reason, mostly go to cold planets, and so they have this very Norse/Icelandic aesthetic meets like the Catholic themed Met Gala. They're very high fashion. And they also invented space magic, which they claim is from their religion and their beliefs. And their space magic mostly revolves around social interaction and charisma. So they basically have a group of empaths and psychics as their priests, due to their specific beliefs and what they practice. And then there's a fifth government that's kind of unofficial. I gave them a brief window of time as we came in. The Scoundrel Armada.
Woo!
Yeah!
The Scoundrel Armada is a loose but massive collection of pirates, smugglers, and refugees from all over. Basically, anyone who ever got fed up of a government and was like, I don't want to be here, I'm going to hop in my cool space boat and just kind of see what's out there, they get picked up by the Scoundrel Armada. It's space piracy meets garbage punk or scavenged punk. A lot of their stuff is rusted. A lot of their stuff is duct taped together. A lot of their stuff is rusted metal and nonsense pipes and a ship that was probably 5 different ships that have been stapled together to make sure it functions. And they are led loosely by the captains of their various ships and settlements, which all answer to an admiral, which is a cool robot pirate named Iambic Pentameter. So yeah.
It's very good.
Which leads me to my next thing.
I have a question about the Capricorns.
Absolutely.
What direction do their elbows go in?
We determined this. They actually have, like, double-jointed elbows.
They are double-jointed. They can bend either direction.
Yeah.
So yeah, for people listening, Bypass System might seem a lot more fleshed out than the other games we play.
Because it is.
It is inherently a game about factions and different governments and different groups of people and what they want. And this is a setting that we used to play before we recorded the show, and we really enjoyed it. And we have been thinking internally for a very long time about how we could adapt Bypass System to be on the show, and what would we do if we did that. I am going to put my foot down right now and say we are going to keep as much pre-Mark Experience Bypass System talk
Yes.
off the air as possible.
Yes,
please.
I want this to be as inclusive for the audience and for people that were not part of those original sessions as possible.
Yeah.
Also, since this is going to be an anthology and we'll be playing a lot of world building and competitive storytelling games, I want this setting to feel like everyone's setting. I want everyone to feel like they have as much control over world building. I want everyone to feel like they have as much power to introduce stuff into the world and to explore things about the world as possible. And in later games, you will be playing leaders of factions and things. So only stuff like the established governments and and naming conventions and locations and things will already be preset. As we go on, I want this setting to be everyone's setting. I want everyone to get more and more control over what exists in this universe.
Some locations can be, like, done by players, though, because, like, you've told us that, like, we can make stuff, offer it to you, and you'd be like, yeah, totally, this is now in here.
100%.
Yeah.
That's part of the setting becoming everyone's, is you can introduce new planets. The Sprawl has a really cool function where players get to make up NPCs.
Yeah.
And I think that should be a thing for everything. Okay. I'm sorry for that massive info dump.
Don't worry, it only took 15 minutes.
And I was gonna say, hey, at least now they know, so that when we continue on, we won't have to get a constant redumping.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll
you
just
get-
say go listen to the first episode again.
Yeah.
If you forget it, here's the thing.
I'll have to listen to the first episode multiple times, I think.
It's also going to be like a learning experience. Like, we'll find out more as we go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what the anthology is about, is fleshing out
Yeah.
Bypass System and the different
Yeah.
factions and what they want.
Yeah.
So, this setting is everything I love about space. So, it's got cyberpunk, it's got, like, high space fantasy, it's got a lot of mech anime in it. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of mech anime in
This
it.
is Riley on his mech anime bullshit right
Yeah,
here.
Riley has
absolutely.
a deep love of mech animes.
I do. I also Star Wars. Star Wars is here. Star Trek also here.
Power Rangers.
Yes,
Power
there's
Rangers
an
is here.
there's
Yeah,
an
'cause
entire
what is-
faction in this world that is just the Power Rangers.
He literally it's in the Eurasia, and it's just in it. It says "What if Power Rangers" and italic.
Yes.
It's called Mega Mecha with an exclamation point.
Yes.
Some things that inspired this setting is like cyberpunk, the anime Cowboy Bebop. That
Oh,
has a
God.
big place in this setting's heart. Star Wars, Doctor Who, a lot of Doctor
yes.
Who in here. The movie Arrival, and Power Rangers. I've listed here a few other like lesser known anime and webcomics and things that I personally draw from, but like
Kaiju.
I think we have an idea of what this place is, and we are going to get a better idea as we play.
Yeah.
Okay, now that I've talked for way too long, you people will be playing Pinkertons that work for a corporation called the June Agency, which is a kind of private eye / security firm, hired guns. Pinkerton, I know, is kind of a loaded word because in America's history, what Pinkertons were and what they were often hired to do was maybe not the greatest. However, I thought really long and hard about what your guys' job titles would be, and nothing fit besides Pinkerton. And also, you guys are morally ambiguous and like carry guns around without badges. Like I think it's
Yeah.
fair to say that maybe the moral ambiguity baggage that comes with the term Pinkerton can also be applied here.
Fair.
I mean,
yeah.
we're obviously not going to do a bunch of games about busting up unions and things, obviously. But the private eye and private security, like hired guns, pseudo cops but pseudo criminals thing is very much true for what you guys are.
Yep.
And we can talk more about the owner of the June Agency and your other fellow employees when you guys meet them. Right now, I want to stop talking and I want to hear all about your guys' characters. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first since mine is probably the shortest.
Okay.
I am playing a character. Their name is Razor Hue. They're non-binary, so their pronouns are they, them. Their description is that they have, they're rather short in stature due to a stunted growth because my idea was genuinely cyborg. Just a straight-up cyborg for Razor Hue. They are a level 1 killer class, and their description is that they have large purple curls put up in a ponytail with an undercut, and then at the nape of their neck, there is metal plating that goes around onto their right side of their face, which is covered in metal plating as well, and goes down all across their body with a, they have, their skin shows being of Polynesian descent way, you know, because we're far in the future.
Yeah. Polynesia isn't a thing.
Exactly. That's why I say Polynesian descent, because, you know, we're in the future.
Or whatever
Their
space Polynesia is at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Like, their clothing looks like that of a post-apocalyptic one. So, like, genuinely think of Mad Max. Yeah, think Mad Max for the clothing. they have cyber eyes, which means they got robot eyes. They have dermal plating, which is just it's more metal, and they have a whole ass metal arm. They have a cyber arm.
Cool.
They're so that is them. They have a lot of weapons because that's also their deal.
I really like the classes in the Sprawl. There's a lot of really cool classes that are built around character archetypes in cyberpunk stories. And so it's not based on your usual like D&D, oh, this is the fighter, this is the rogue, this is the wizard or whatever. And so they have a lot of narrative potential. And then there's just the class killer, which is all about dealing as much damage with as many ridiculous weapons as possible.
I know. It makes me very happy.
Do you want to play the Terminator? Because I will let you play the Terminator. Because the nature of the one-shot we're doing, I kind of talked to you about some stuff, and based on your directives, you're kind of a killer with a heart of gold. Yes, you are, like, your class is killer, and yes, you are here to do violence, but I think you're not heartless, and I think you have a moral center, if that makes sense. I would like to, just not have a straight up psychopath.
Yeah, no, they're not the assholes.
Okay.
And so they're very, very morally ambiguous, which does fit into the whole thing. Like, they have two, I can't remember what they're called, what the things that are in bold.
Directives,
and protective is when you put your responsibility to yourself ahead of the mission. Like, they have the whole mission.
Protective is based on protecting someone, not yourself.
Well, that someone is themselves, because their whole thing is survival.
Yeah, it says when you put your responsibility to yourself ahead of the mission.
Yeah, ahead of the mission. That's what it's saying.
Okay. The protective move is supposed to be based around protecting another player. Since this is a one shot, I'm gonna see how it goes. But I think getting experience for not wanting to get shot is maybe not the best for game mechanics, and it's also maybe not super narratively compelling. So we're going to have to focus on not just survival, but survival at your team's expense, if that makes sense. For gaining,
It would be more like, I want to do this thing, but it doesn't help the team.
So maybe that's not protective, and maybe that's a unique directive that I'll have to rename.
Yeah, for now, but their whole thing is very survival based, but like survival doesn't just mean for themselves; it means like survival.
Okay, is that everything about Razor Hue?
Razor Hue didn't have a lot, so yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, that felt like a lot.
Y'all have 2 pages, so...
Of stats? That doesn't mean I'm gonna read all of it.
Okay. Jamie, how about you introduce your character?
Okay. I am playing the hacker. Her name is Ephemeral Orchid, but she goes by Effie. She is transgender. Let me pull up my picture of her so that I can describe her. She is broad-shouldered and very... what's the opposite of like curvy? Just rectangular bodied? I don't know how to describe that.
Muscular and wiry.
Sure, there we go.
She's broad-shouldered and muscular, but not in like the bodybuilder way. She has fat to her. She has weight. Little bit of chub, which you can see because she wears like really short shorts and not really a jog bra, but like for flat-chested, whatever the equivalent of that is, because jog bras are there to hold up stuff, and she doesn't have that.
Just a sports bra? Like a sports bra?
Yeah, it's just basically a short sports bra.
The opposite of a binder, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just to cover her chest a little. And she wears a sleeveless black trench coat with a hood over that, and she wears fishnet stockings. And covering her entire right arm is this gorgeous bright red tattoo sleeve of roses and thorns. And she has an undercut with which you can see some cybernetics underneath going through the under part of her skin on her head, and her hair is a fluorescent teal that is pulled up into a mohawk, and it's about maybe 4 or 5 inches tall, and it sweeps forward a little bit. And she has a lot of piercings all over her.
I am dying for you to say the most important thing about
I'm
your
getting
character.
there. Shush.
Please.
Getting there. And every once in a while, you will see her body glitch in any part of her, because she is a hologram. Above her, there is this little circular object, flat, cylindrical. That's what it is. And
it's a floating Roomba.
It's a Roomba, yeah. And coming down from the inside of the bottom of it are these colorful, almost rainbow-like strings that attach to parts of her body, almost like a marionette. So that is what she looks like.
So yeah, you are the like data ghost of a person being projected out as a hologram.
During one of her hackings, things went poorly, and she died. Her physical body died, but she was able to download her brain into a hard drive, which she was able to move into her Roomba.
Fantastic.
And it has a gun.
And you have a gun. All right. Rowan, would you like to introduce your character?
Yeah. My character is Gaia Atomica, and Z uses Z, Zer, and Zer self pronouns, which I am gonna try as hard as I can to get right. But Gaia, it has a very cyber goth look to them. Sorry. I gotta get used to this.
Neo pronouns are hard.
Yeah, but I really want them to have them, so.
We apologize if we get them wrong too, but we will try our best.
Yeah, same here.
And that's spelled with an X, so it'll just come more naturally as we do this. They have artificial eyes because they were burned out by the acid rain on their planet. And you can't see their face. It's hidden by a gas mask that is connected to a pack on their back. I almost feel like I'm speaking French.
That's what I was just thinking, yeah.
And they're very small, and they're dressed with like not just cyber goth, but also like a lot of cargo pants and heavy boots and gloves. And they have scars all over their body from both the acid rain and fighting radioactive mutants on their planet.
Yeah, you moved to the Paramore system.
Yes. Gaia Atomica is originally from a planet known as Enki, but locally known as Era. And this planet is a desolate, radioactive, and atomic wasteland.
Yeah, if we ever want to play like a Fallout-based RPG, I think it would be really fun to explore that area as part of Bypass System. All right, so all three of you are members of the June Agency, which is a small business on the planet of Eros, owned by a woman named June Weekly. It's a pretty small business, like a business building. As far as you know, June has about like 20 to 30 people on call, which is pretty small for Eros, which is owned by a corporatocracy, and pretty much everybody knows June. June is the person that knows everyone, has been everywhere. Everyone owes her a favor. She owes everyone else 2 favors. She has a habit of finding discarded misfits from society and kind of banding them together under her banner, giving them guns, and then getting them paid for whatever dirty business the corporations on Eros don't want to handle or can't handle themselves. She is a middle-aged woman around in her 40s, maybe. She's got this caramel skin. She wears a lot of teal. Her hair is very curly. It is also colored teal. And all three of you have been called in to work today. And you are arriving at the June agency. It's a small building, as I described before. There's a few people in the office today. There's like a small waiting room and like receptionary desk that, as far as you know, is always empty. There is a high-tech space coffee machine that has been broken as long as any of you have worked here. It has never worked, and it probably never will work. There is a waiting room for the employees that has like 2 or 3 tables set up. And then there's a few rooms dedicated to filing, and then June has her own office. And you have all been called in to work, so you know you can go straight to June. What would you like to do?
Effie just goes straight into the building, and Effie's body is not there. It's just the Roomba, and it just whisks right into her office.
Okay.
I would say that if anyone's just gonna make their way to there, it'd be Razor. They don't waste time. But like, they're not the most sociable, so like they'll give a nod if someone says hello, but they're just gonna go straight there if they know they're being called in for a job.
Okay.
Gaia heads in, and Z stands like right behind the door, like kind of as far back in the office as possible.
All right.
I want to say that like when Effie gets into the room, her body like materializes underneath it.
Fantastic. If you all enter into June Weekly's office, she is sitting at her desk, which is projecting up this big holographic screen, which has various different newspapers flashing across it. She has taken out this small silver cylinder and has placed it into her mouth, and the end automatically ignites, and this light bluish teal smoke begins to emanate out from it. It's whatever. It's
cool.
It's
a
space
cool
cigarette.
It's
Yeah.
It's the descendant of cigarettes and vape pens. It is this weird mix of both. It is this like self-igniting cigarette that when you put into your mouth, the chemicals in it react to the saliva and it ignites, and you basically have like a vape or a cigarette there.
Oh, that's really cool.
She goes through a lot of these a day.
Yeah.
It's not as like damaging to your lungs as I would say cigarettes to date are. It would be the equivalent of someone eating way too much candy, though. It's clearly a thing. It is clearly a thing she does to handle stress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Effie kind of waves. Is like, "Good morning, June."
Oh, good. You're all here. Fantastic. Okay, so you are the 3 employees I could get on the horn. So I have a bit of an unusual job for you today. Now, usually I know, according to our license, we're only really able to operate in the city of Mephistopheles and the wider Eros area. However, a concerned party has reached out to us and has contacted us about one of their ships being attacked, presumably by some space pirates. Footage from the vessel shows they were flying the Scoundrel Armada colors, so I might need to be sending you all to space.
All right. That sounds pretty good.
We have been hired by the Ein Exploratory Guild to go rescue their main research and freight vessel, the Calamity Refrain. It's experimental, and it was apparently attacked. they need a response team to get out there as quickly as possible to rescue the surviving crew and reclaim as many of the historical assets as possible.
Will we be given a ride?
Okay, so in the meta, the Sprawl has a move for negotiating the terms of a job. It is called Getting the Job.
Great.
When you negotiate the terms of a job, roll plus edge. No one has really been engaging in the conversation besides Ephemeral Orchid, so I think, Effie, would you like to roll 2d6 plus edge?
But I'm the only one with 0 and edge.
If someone else would like to take charge of this and start to try and negotiate the terms of the job, I'm totally up for it.
I'd say Razor would do that. They would go up and go,
So, what exactly is going to be going down with this besides just the retrieval?
Okay. Roll plus edge.
That's starting off great.
Is it a fail?
It was a 3.
Okay.
We always have to start every campaign with a fail.
A fail.
I think we have started every single campaign
With a fail.
with a failure.
We're just warming up the dice.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta get all those fails out there first.
Okay. Well, in that case, June looks at you three with an exasperated, exhausted look, and she goes, I have no resources I can really spare. The only thing I can provide for you is the company spaceship, the Bad Penny. That's it. Information has been limited. They're kind of cagey about it. As far as I can tell, they want to rescue the crew from the ship and claim as many of their weird alien rocks as they can. Presumably the space pirates that attacked it are still there. So you may be expected to fight through a small team of Scoundrel Armada. I don't know.
Alright, so prepare for a fight.
Okay.
Effie cracks her knuckles, but no sound comes out because the only sound that's able to come out of her Roomba is her voice.
Oh.
And she's like, alright, let's go kick some ass.
Fighting isn't exactly my strong suit.
You know what? Me neither. Out of meta, I have -1 meat, because I'm a hologram.
Razor will do all the killing.
That's why Razor's here.
Okay, so in the Sprawl, missions are set up into 2 categories. There is the legwork section, and then there is the action section. Legwork is when you are all expected to do research, reach out to your contacts, gather supplies, prepare, set up what you're going into, make your plan, get whatever you need for the mission, etc. And then the action clock is carrying out your plan and carrying out the action. So we will be starting the legwork clock. As you all are free, you are expected, because the ship is currently under attack, to prepare yourselves quickly. But you have an hour or 2 to do research, gather your weapons and supplies, reach out to your contacts to figure out some other information, and then once that time is up, you will be loaded up onto the Bad Penny, and you'll be shot over to the space between the 2 planets Ein to reclaim the crew of the Calamity's Refrain.
I don't think I ever said what my character's class was.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Gaia is the fixer, which means Gaia is the person in the middle of everything, the middleman of all of the
It's
businesses
so good.
going on.
That's pretty good for legwork, then.
Yeah, that is.
It's really good for legwork.
I have 2 moves that could help for this.
Mm-hmm.
I know a guy who knows a guy, which allows me to create a contact. Once per mission, I can just make up a new contact and roll for that.
Isn't that a thing we can just do anyway?
Yeah, it says declare contact. Yeah, that's a move.
Yes. Everyone gets the ability to declare contact. However, the fixer gets a unique, more powerful version of that ability.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, let me see what the difference is. If I can find yeah. So in declare a contact, it just says that like they owe you a favor and you owe them a favor. In my move, I know a guy who knows a guy. I actually like roll and based off my roll, it's whether or not I have met them before, or whether I've never met them, or why they absolutely hate me.
Yeah, it's a chance to get a free person in your pocket, pretty much.
Okay.
If you roll a success on it.
Yeah.
Mediocre, if you get a mediocre success, if you get a half success, partial success.
I've just never met them.
Yeah, it's like kind of on board with a normal declare contact ability, and then if you get a failure, they hate your guts. So it's really interesting.
Yeah. My other move that would be useful for this is I have a move called Hustling, which is at the beginning of every mission, I get to choose 2 from a really long list of jobs.
Yes, you have...
And I get to roll for the success of those jobs. So the 2 I chose for this one are Surveillance, which if I win, I get intel, and Debt Collection, where if I win, I get gear.
Cool.
Which we definitely need.
What does your surveillance team look like for a situation in space?
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
That seems really cool. Are they like people in little spacesuits floating around out there? Are they people that are connected like across the Paramore system that are really connected to the news? Is it maybe someone hacking a satellite? There's like a lot of things it could be.
Is it synthetic citizens, right? Yeah.
Synthetic citizens are like sentient robots, yes.
Yeah, so it could be some synthetic citizens too. We don't know.
That's kind of the thing about Sprawl. Everything's so vague that I just get to choose.
Yeah.
And but like the general description is I have a small network of informants who report on events.
Nice.
And I can then sell that information.
Fantastic.
So is that something we want to do?
Yes, because I don't have any of those and I already did my fan.
Yeah. I suppose I should just do all 3 of these moves, right? Is that how this goes, Riley?
No.
If you would like to, keep in mind, failures on moves allows me to advance the legwork clock.
That's what it is.
One of my favorite things about the Sprawl is its clock mechanics. Everything is run on clocks.
Clocks are scary.
Yes, now you know why we groan.
Partial I've referenced clocks in several other games before, I believe.
And then we all physically die whenever you do.
Mm-hmm.
And Monster of the Week kind of has a clock if you play it correctly, not the way that Riley plays it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't do a little
I don't
homebrew.
like its clock system. It's kind of boring.
It has one single clock.
It's just
unlike
one
Sprawl.
big clock, and it's already kind of how I run the game anyway. Like, I'm already doing the basics of that, so I don't think too hard about it. Everyone look at their basic moves, except for Gaia, who has moves on the character sheet. Think about what you would like to do for the legwork.
I was thinking of going on to, what was the internet called on this planet again? What was it?
It's the spider.
Whatever the webways.
Yeah. Yes. Wait, no, is that
Arachne Virtual Services.
There we go. I was like, isn't webways the little GPS?
Yeah, for the audience, Arachne Virtual Services is basically this world's internet. It's kind of like the Verizon / Sprint of everything. They own the internet and everything. I'm just going to read what Riley has written. The programmers of Arachne Virtual Services are called spiders and are given incredible powers and abilities inside the Matrix, which is the internet, including the ability to become large, black glass spiders. They act as police and rulers of the Matrix virtual world. They are the epitome of morally gray megacorporation. Lovely. And a part of that is Webways, which is what if Google Maps?
Yeah, basically with the little spiders, your little, like,
Yeah, the way
notification.
Riley described it a while back was that it was basically Google Maps, but instead of like your car or your icon moving around, it was a little spider. So that's fun. So yeah, Arachne Virtual Services. I'm gonna go into that, and I was thinking of looking up stuff about the Scoundrel Armada, see if I can find any weaknesses that we could exploit.
Yeah.
My whole thing is the internet, so outside of that, I can't really do anything.
I was gonna say, Razor is not helpful on this.
I'd say our team is very well specialized to have one person do each part.
Yeah. Internet, there's me, people, there's Gaia, and
then
killing,
Fighting.
murder.
Violence. That's Razor.
So I'm probably mostly gonna take over the legwork clock part.
Yeah, I think so. We kind of just go until the clock runs out, but I do know that if we don't fill up the clock, we get more stuff, or we get like a plus to our roll when we are, getting paid at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. When you go to get paid by an employer, roll and add the number of unfilled segments on the legwork clock.
So, like, if we just said we're gonna head out now.
Yeah, we would get like a plus, I think it's 6? I forget how big the legwork clock is.
We get a good amount.
But then the actual mission would be a lot harder.
Yeah.
Because we have no gear, no intel,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, we got none of that.
Another part of the legwork is that you can actually go under the knife. So you can just have cybernetics added to you. It does cost money though.
I think I'm good.
Oh yeah. Also, in these jobs that I can choose, some of them actually give me cred too.
Which is
like money.
That's pretty good.
Just straight up money. I can just get money.
You might be the moneymaker of this family, in this relationship.
Unless Razor decides to cut people down and steal their shit.
That's true. Why is that something I've never thought of? Why have I never thought to loot a body in D&D? Or not D&D. I always think of looting bodies in D&D.
Everyone wants to loot in D&D.
In Powered by the Apocalypse.
I think it's because in Eden's Grove, it's not exactly like on your character's mind very much.
Well, for that,
also
it's because
the monsters just kind of die.
We're killing monsters.
Yeah, and then we haven't really done more things that include just hacking people to bits, like here.
I can't loot anyone's bodies anyway because I don't have a body.
No, but you can hack into their bank.
That's true.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm not doing planning.
So you're not gonna do anything?
What is Razor gonna do? Sharpen their weapons?
Yeah.
That's basically all they're gonna do.
Do they have a home? They could go home and get a gun.
They have all.
Or go buy a gun.
I don't. I have so much. I have a silenced machine pistol, an assault rifle, and then my blade, my ornate.
You can go beat
blade.
someone up and steal something from them.
I have a single pistol.
I do too.
Okay. How do you shoot things?
I imagine the Roomba has like little compartments in it, and like they'll open up and a thing will come out depending on what I need. Like a USB will come out when I need to connect to a computer, or like a little nozzle will come out and start shooting bullets.
But does it have like little arms or something to?
I think it would be totally within reason to say that the drone Roomba has arms. Also, I think it would be really funny to keep the gag going of Ephemeral Orchid not being able to touch and move things. So, like, maybe it only has, like, the one little claw, and it's like those...
It's got an R2-D2 hand.
Yeah.
And a pistol.
Yes.
Yeah, a built-in gun, obviously.
Okay, not gonna lie. when you said, "Oh yeah, it has little compartments," I just thought of a knife taped on top of it,
Oh no.
like a Roomba.
DJ Knife
Like a-
Roomba.
Effie, what do you have? A knife! No!
Oh!
I was thinking about those arcade machines with the grabby claw.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, that would
Just
be
one
even
of those
funnier.
comes out of the center.
I have to roll
Yes.
every time I want to try and touch something.
That would be hilarious. But we don't necessarily have to do that. Gaia, since you have the most actions, to keep the spotlight on everyone evenly, I think we're not going to do all your actions in like a chunk. I think you get an action, then everyone else gets an action, then we do you again, then yeah?
Yeah, I don't want to advance the clock so much that nobody gets a turn.
Yeah. Okay, so Gaia, I know you had some plans. What would you like to do first?
So, I'm gonna use my hustling move, which I actually roll for all of my jobs at once.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna do that.
Holla holla get dollar. As the ancient earth sages once said. The poets of old.
Gaia is going to connect with their informants, who I like the idea of just like some people hacking into satellites that are near the area.
You just have a bunch of pet nerds.
Yeah. And that'll be the surveillance. And then debt collection. I honestly don't really have an idea for that.
You give some people some baseball bats and say, "These people owe me money. Go get it."
Yeah. So let's roll. And I got, oh, nice, a 9. So on a 7 to 9, oh wait, what did I roll? Plus edge. That might actually be more than a 9. Hey, it's a 10.
Nice.
Yay!
On a 10 plus, I profit from each of my jobs.
Wonderful.
For the deck, my mind when you went deck collect, I was like, does Razor actually get to go beat up people?
Oh, and every job I profit from gives me 1 cred as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh,
So
you
mark
get
that
so
down.
much money.
Yep.
Got
so
the
I
money.
get 2 cred, 1 intel, and 1 gear.
You
Okay.
got the money.
Intel and gear are hold in this game, and you basically you can spend them to make things true in the world. Intel you can spend to, like, I can say, okay, here's this hallway, etc., and you can say, oh, I'm going to spend my intel to say, oh, I heard there's a secret vent that I can crawl through over here, and that becomes true. And I'm all about that. That sounds awesome. Gear you can spend to just get an object you want. I believe you have to roll still.
It says it in the basic sprawl moves. Hold on.
Or
It's produce equipment. When you produce equipment, you need at the right time. It's like, how did you, and describe
Yeah.
how and why your professionalism
Okay.
and forethought told you to bring this.
a gear is a point you can spend to just get whatever you need into your inventory whenever you need it.
Yes.
So those
Yep.
are both really good resources. Good job, Gaia.
I think it does need to
Nice.
be like something that is within reason that you would have. At
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You can't just say,
I've been carrying an AK-47 on my back this entire time.
no,
For those
yeah,
30
that,
to 50 hogs.
that you can say.
Yeah, you can't say that you have been in a tank this whole time. We're
Yeah.
on
You
a
can't-
ship. What's that doing here?
You can't
Yeah.
pull out a instantly kill the bad guy button, but like a
Yeah.
big gun? Yeah, that sounds awesome. Tell me about how you got that big gun.
Exactly. That's what you can't have an AK-47 on your
Yeah.
person.
I just want someone to pull out a cat. Be like,
Oh,
yes, I
no.
had this the whole time.
I've had a flirkin this entire time.
Okay. All right, so that's Gaia's first thing done.
I want to know how
Effie.
those things went, though. What did you do?
Oh, yeah, Gaia, would you
Yeah.
like to have a scene where we, like, talk about that? Or is it more of a montage situation?
I have no concept of what happens, but do we want to?
Okay, if you don't want to, we don't have to put the camera on that at all.
I have no idea how to actually do that move.
Yeah, for sure. We get some shots of Gaia, like, on their space phone or whatever, talking to a room full of nerds on their computers. No, that's mean. In this world, everyone is technically a nerd because everyone is in a cyberpunk space fantasy. So
I'll say what we do see is Gaia squatting in an alley in a dark corner as people come up to them, just like
handing out baseball bats to people.
Except that Gaia is a small person, so they're like on a ledge, like a rail or something.
They're on a trash can.
To make them more intimidating?
Yeah. And then you just see their glowing artificial eyes, just like...
Fantastic.
That's amazing. Little spooky gremlin.
That's a very good scene in the movie we're making.
Hey Mark Experience audience, and welcome to the end credits. Thank you so much for listening to our show. If you want to see MXP art and laugh at the dumb jokes we make about our own show, you can find us on Tumblr at tumblr.com/blog/markexperience. If you like the music, you can buy it all at markexperience.bandcamp.com. And we also have merch at redbubble/people/mark-experience, where you can buy posters and shirts and stickers. If you want to donate so that we can create more content, you can head over to our Ko-fi account at ko-fi.com/Jamie Remy. That's spelled JAMIEREMY. That's my name. You can find this podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher, so listen wherever is easiest. Have fun browsing, and we'll see you next time.